I hit it. Omos and AJ versus Team RKbrO.
I feel like RKbrO should win those tag titles, yo.
Do you?
I do, but like, I don't know. I enjoy RKbrO. Like the whole thing with Matt Riddle while Orton was gone, sitting there doing stuff in dedication and talking about Orton like he died. Like that shit was fucking hilarious. And then Orton comes back, hugs him, then RKO's him. Like they're basically the perfect odd couple tag team. And Orton, I have this whole thing in my head about Orton can't be a good babyface. There's the whole Orton-Morton continuum, as I call it.
No, you can't.
Like Ricky Morton can't be a heel and Orton can't be a babyface. It's literally impossible.
Right.
You build RKbrO for as long as you do with the tag titles, and then Orton turns on him, and then you build that as a feud, I'd fuck with it.
I think that's going to happen. I also think they're going to hotshot it, though. I think I think that split's going to come sooner than later, and it might, or on SummerSlam. I think it might happen on SummerSlam, like a full
win the tag titles and then a heel turn,
right? Or lose them because I don't know. I think it'll happen sooner. I think they'll hotshot that sooner. What do you think, Trey?
I think that Orton had one really good babyface run.
I agree with that.
Weird. He was fighting Christian and all them on SmackDown.
I agree with that.
Don't split.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Split with the hands and he did this afterwards.
Yeah.
He had like an organic face turn, and that shit was actually entertaining as fuck because he was weird. He was just doing weird shit. Like he hurt his knee one time, he fell through the table. I think in the same stretch, got up, was like And he got up like, nah, I'm just playing. I'm good. Like he was doing mad. It was like he was just so over.
Yeah, it
didn't matter.
Yeah, or it was almost like he didn't give a fuck.
He didn't. No, he did.
Like he saw the writing on the wall at the time. Yes. He's like, all right,
fuck it. I don't care. Fuck it. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. And that shit worked. That worked for him because he had like, in that stretch of like maybe 6-7 months, he had like that Stone Cold kind of energy. Like he wasn't a good guy technically, but he was like definitely one of the hottest guys on the card at the time. Where it was just some crazy shit. But I do.
I agree.
Enjoy the heel Orton. I agree with you because I think Omos can't really move at all still. Like he can do some stuff, but from what I saw, I only seen one match of it though. I watched some WrestleMania or he did anything.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania against the New Day.
Right.
And all everybody did was just bump for him.
Yeah, I hated them. I hate those kind of intros and entry matches. Like I hate it with a passion, but. You know, I didn't think he was.
Realistically, that's what you have to do with a new guy like that,
especially when they're that big.
Like,
but I hate it,
and that new.
But I hate it.
I want to ask y'all: does it bother you guys as much as it bothers me that Orton should be a bigger star than he actually is?
Absolutely. No. Brent doesn't like Orton, but I think so.
Orton has a tendency to wear out his welcome, and there's certainly matches and programs of his that I just got super bored with. Like I hated everything he ever did with Bray Wyatt. I thought that shit. I thought that shit was channel changing boredom to me.
Yeah.
You didn't like the bug match?
Oh, the bug match. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it was either.
Luke Harper should have been a part of that match. The story that they were building, Luke Harper should have been a part of that match.
They didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of that. I also went through a lot of that John Cena greatest rivalry ever bullshit. That shit got super fast.
So that's because they did it for like.
Well, because like they wrestled all the time. They wrestled all the time, and they had the same match all the time. Yo, like.
The problem was they had the feud, right? We get the big build up because originally, if y'all remember back on what was it, SmackDown 2, 3. That was one of the games they had. They had at the beginning, right at the end, you see Orton and Cena standing in the ring. You're like, damn, if they were ever on the same show.
Probably SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah.
It might have been, yeah. Because I just remember them two, like, Cena was the guy on SmackDown.
Because they were the young guys.
Orton was the guy on Raw. And you like, yo, if they ever get in the ring, this shit gonna be crazy. So then we finally got it. Like, maybe, it was when Cena won the title, he switches over to Raw. We finally get those matches. That rivalry starts. Boom, right? So then we get it. We exhaust it. They bring it back a couple years later. They exhaust it. Then they bring it back a couple years later. They exhaust it. It's like, yo, we've had this like 3 or 4 times. And neither one of these characters grow that much.
Right.
So we're having the same argument and battle over and over and over. Like, I love both these guys, but fuck.
It's like Stone Cold versus The Rock.
No.
Stone Cold versus The Rock took place between the years of 1997 and 2003. And there were long stretches where they were not together at all in that time frame.
And the biggest fact of that is their characters changed.
They sure did.
They evolved over
Exactly.
Austin was the bad guy at one of those points, and Rock was the face at that point. They switched completely. So it's not the same exact characters. We like Roman and Cena, well, kind of Roman and Cena right now. Not exactly the same, but kind of, because Roman has changed completely. Cena has been gone so long, people don't hate him. So it's kind of like it works, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But that was the biggest problem, I think, with Orton and Cena. Because they had good matches. It was just, do I care anymore?
But it just got to a point to where they gave it to you so much that by the time you saw them again, you were just like, these guys again? Yeah, I think the reason people revere the Rock and Austin feud so much is because they fought for the Intercontinental title. Then they went their separate ways. And then Rock joins the corporation, and the corporation is feuding with Austin. So then they start fighting each other.
Their interactions was not every week with crossing paths, like that shit. It was like,
exactly.
They randomly be in the same place, and it's like.
So Austin and Rock, that first time, they basically, their last real interaction was Rumble 98. Then they didn't interact really again until the end of the year in 1998. Yep, exactly. A whole year they stayed apart. Then they did the corporation shit, but it wasn't Austin versus Rock every single week. There were other people intermingled. Rock fucked with Mankind, Triple H. Austin had to go through the entire corporation. Like Undertaker, Kane, all the stuff behind them, right? So they and that leads into WrestleMania 15. And then due to injuries and other stuff, we don't see Austin for a year. He's gone for at least a year. Right? Then he finally comes back, and Rock and them are faces. Now they're on the same side. Like they're still not really fucking with each other till that Mania. What was it, 17? And then Rock takes off for over a year. So they're not always in each other's shit.
Nah, and it was like, again, it was full blown storylines in between with other people that were like.
Exactly.
And like deep. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rock and Mankind wasn't just like some bullshit. The Rock and Triple H wasn't some bullshit in between. That was like a real rivalry that you were like, damn, is this Trump, him and Austin almost? I think this is better than what we got from them before. So then the next time they come back, it's like, okay, nah, they are the better rivalry. When I see them together again, this is actually better. Then you go away, you're like, oh man, now the Rock is fighting this person or that person. Like the rivalries were just always bigger and bigger and bigger to a point where you're like, when I see these two together, you just feel them growing. It was like,
and they saved them for Mania. It wasn't for it wasn't for over the limit or bragging rights or whatever the fuck we got. Right. John Cena versus Orton '86 at.
Yeah, it's like Goldberg, right? His build in WCW, you just saw this colossal person coming, right? He was going to take Hogan for sure at some point. They had two of those building, and they knew how to keep them separate. So you're watching this shit, and as a fan, you're like,
exactly.
Yo, when these motherfuckers collide, it's going to be the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Like, boom, that's storytelling.
How did we even get here? Cause I swear I don't recognize shit here.